It's an attitude, a motivation, a deep-seated spirit. It's an inner strength to keep your feet planted firmly on the ground, no matter what presses against you. It's self-confidence. It's belief. It's a way of life. It's Fezek Athletics. Shop now at www.fezekeathletics.com to get your fitness gear now. Conquer your physique.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Men of Honor podcast, brought to you by Fezek Athletics, fitness gear, and supplements. And now introducing the Men of Honor fellas.
My name is Erik, Instagram Swiss Burgundy, Providence, Rhode Island.
My name's Joe Baranski, Instagram Joseph Baranski, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Greg McCray. You can follow me on Facebook under Greg McCray Jr.
And this is Frank at Fezek Frank, also Fezek Athletics from San Diego, California, currently living in Philadelphia.
All right, I'm Javon, a.k.a. Rock, at Forever King Henry 33, from Norfolk, Virginia, currently living in Philly. Good evening, and welcome to another episode 4 of the Men of Honor podcast. I'm here with the fellas. Fellas, how y'all doing this evening?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Doing excellent, man. Dealing with a headache, but I'm doing all right.
I'm stuffed.
What you
Dropped 63 headaches.
Oh, had me a nice crab boil just now, so my belly's full. But I got plenty of ammo to talk about this week.
All right. How everybody holding up on? I don't know what day we are on this quarantine.
Man,
I'm tired of it.
in Philly, they're looking around June. Hopefully, around June, they'll let the second wave go through, because I think they just opened up more counties than PA. So
Yeah,
I think like us and like Delaware County are like the last one.
I think more like the Pittsburgh side, like over on that side.
Yeah, the northern area. Yeah.
All right, how's it up in Rhode Island? E? What? I'm sorry.
Only thing I'm counting is these unemployment checks every Tuesday coming in.
I know the Senate this past
Another stimulus.
Yeah, they just passed it through there. Now I gotta go
to the house.
and
Yeah.
then they're gonna.
But that's more for families, though. I think families gonna more benefit off of that one now.
Yeah,
because the freaking Democrats, them.
Yeah, well, that's
everything's all right up here. They just open up some of the parks and restaurants, open back up.
Okay.
Open up some of the basketball courts and shit. So everything's one day at a time.
Well,
And then boys gonna be on the court. That's like Corona.
Corona.
I ain't sticking hell.
For real. It'd be like, yo, it smell like you got the Corona. I'm good.
Right.
You know how people be wearing the sleeves and the headbands and stuff now? Now they're just gonna have the mask.
Right, gonna be a whole bunch of ninjas out there.
Dude's gonna be on the court passing out with the mask on.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, let's jump right into it. The most recent 2 episodes. So 7, where they dove more into, the passing, the untimely passing of Mike's Pops, and then him moving to baseball, and then the Bulls team without Pip, and then they went into episode 8, which focused more now on, I guess, what the doc was truly about, the 98 team, them going through the playoffs the first round against the Hornets. So, let's dive into that. Like, what was your thoughts, opinions on episodes 7 and 8?
I'll go first. I thought it was good. I liked it. I like how they got into the how Jordan, was in practice, how he was so demanding, how he expected, nothing but the best from his teammates, and how he expected them to go as hard as him, and the baseball as well. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they only talked about Jordan when he stunk it up in baseball, which I learned that he had a 13-game hit streak when he first started.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So I liked how they got into stuff with the baseball, and
I think he led in steals too. Steal bases.
Yeah. That was one thing that I remember that he was doing good, was stealing the bases. So I like how they got into that and the whole Steve Kerr situation.
Okay. Just go ahead, jump in. Whoever, Frank or E, whichever one.
I'll be last.
I love 7 and 8. It showed MJ the quality of excellence and what he demanded, like he said, on his players. And I just like the way they did that episode. I really didn't like how they pretty much picked just the Steve Kerr and MJ situation, making it like a whole big deal. But Mike explained it that it was kind of a big deal because he kind of snapped. He did explain in the episode that something got into him and he snapped and he apologized to his players, and that was good for him to do that. Especially being a captain. So it shows that he really cared about his players. He wasn't trying to be a bully or anything like that. It's just the competitive in him, but otherwise than that, I think they did a magnificent job on 7 and 8.
Okay. E? Just a side note. Hold on. Just a side note before we go. We got 2 Eriks here on the podcast. We got Whifford and Castano. We call them both E. So if I say E, you may hear. When we say E, you may hear 2 different voices. But my bad. You ain't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, bro.
But you can go ahead because I said I was gonna go last. You go ahead.
Like the previous episodes, I liked it. It gives us, more of a look inside of, Mike, and what he had to deal with, especially episode 7, being on the top after winning the championship, but also being, tired of the game, prior to his, his pop pass. And then once his pop passed, he had no motivation, to play basketball anymore. The baseball, I know they say he had a 13-game hitting streak and all that. I never felt the Mike baseball player. He was athletic, so I knew, there wasn't no surprise that him, stealing all the bases and being athletic on the field. But and then 8, they touched on the Steve Kerr thing. Hence why he's on the cover of the Doc Frank. I remember when we first seen that, we were like, why Steve Kerr on the cover? He's, like I say, he's the most notable, former player from that team now, being the Warriors coach and all that. But we'll get into that later. But, I enjoyed them like I enjoyed all the others. Like, can't wait for, 9 and 10, the final 2, to see what they all about.
Also, I would like to add that, this baseball was his first love.
Yeah.
A lot of people really, unless you're a Jordan fan, a lot of people don't know that baseball was. All
right, come on now. You know how many times they showed that picture of him with the baseball cap on when he was like 12 years old. Yeah. People knew that that's what was one of his, his first loves. But
remember he stated that him and his dad already talked about it.
Right.
Yeah, because he was mentally and physically drained from ball. I know. But
yeah.
Now here's my thing: is it a good thing that Mike wasn't? Let's say he wasn't really successful playing baseball, right? He wasn't. You agree?
I agree.
Right?
He wasn't?
No, he would have never made it to the. I know Ryan Stoff was saying he would, but he would have never made it to the big shot.
Mike, look, the only thing I'm gonna say about the baseball part that you gotta understand is Mike was on the verge of becoming a Major League Baseball player.
If he was
Yeah.
good enough,
Time out.
he would have
If
made
he would,
it to the
if
league.
he would have consistently played at the level that he was playing at, and he was going at the rate that he was going, he probably could have made it.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
I'm not going. Yeah, I'm not going to say he. Yeah, I think he could just because of the competitive
He could have.
side of him.
Mike would have been trash in the major leagues.
listen, this is what
He would have been. I'm not saying he would have been a Derek Jeter or anybody else, but he was averaging 202 with.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
That's a good. What do you mean that's not good? That's
In baseball,
No,
in
202
baseball,
is
yeah, that's
not
good.
like we know 250,
That's
275. Yeah, 202 is
that's
like
an excellent hitter, though.
no,
at
no,
250,
no.
250 is like an excellent hitter.
No.
You barely get through. Yeah.
To get up to the major leagues in AAA ball, to be a solid major league player, you'd have had to hit around 300. Mike couldn't hit the breaking ball.
We're talking about a decent, just coming up into the game. Mike was this is the first time he's coming into the AAA. You had to give him time to actually get into the majors. He had people that was actually Terry Francona is an excellent manager. Remember, he had really good people that was giving him the opportunity to get to the level. Now, if he would have the actual teachers, and he would have had people that would have kept on grooming him along the way, you best believe that average would have went up. For him
And also-
to come to the league at 202 and 50 RBIs, and he had the steals like he was doing, that's not bad coming into the league. I mean, for a AAA batter. I mean, a double A.
Hold on, wait. So hold on. Let's get your thoughts on the episodes first, on 7 and 8. Let's
All right, so I'm gonna start right from the beginning because I want everybody to be clear on something. My opinions are based on my opinions and my opinions solely. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody.
No, you gotta do the disclaimer. No, go ahead, man.
I don't want nobody to get upset because I feel what I say. My own free opinions, and I say what I want to say because this is what I feel.
Yeah, that's what we want. Come on, keep it real. Right. Let's go.
I hate Jordan. I hate the Bulls. I think it's all trash. I think the whole entire documentary has always been trash. I think Jordan's an arrogant piece of shit. Right? Point blank and simple. I don't like Jordan. Never liked him. Never had no respect for him because of what he does. And this episode proves exactly why he is what he is. He's a bully on the court, and he bullies people in the locker. However, that never took away the work ethic that he brought on the court. I respect the man for what he brought on the court. I will say that because it takes a lot of guts and it takes a lot of work to do what you do on the court. And the only reason why I say that is because I see the way Frank is an example of that because Frank worked out very hard to get to where he was, and it shows a lot on how he played basketball. And I saw that in the way Frank played basketball, and I saw that how everybody else played basketball. So not to take away from the fact that Jordan is the type of person he was, I just don't like him as a person for how he attacked and how he went against his morals of basketball work. That's just my opinion. That doesn't take away from for what he did and his work and winning championships. Like I said the last episode before, to be the GOAT, you got to win championships, and I will not take that away from him. He is by far the greatest basketball player to ever win the game. And I said that last week, and I stick to my guns, and that is fact. You got to be. I'm
glad to hear that from you. I'm glad to hear
that. He said that last week. Like we know.
I stick to my guns.
I never heard him say MJ was a GOAT.
I said that last week.
He said that last week.
Oh, all right.
I said it last week because I made the comparisons last week. I said, to be the GOAT, I said MJ is the GOAT. You had people that try to beat it, like, I said Dr. J was comparisons. You had all these other comparisons I said, but they could never reach the threshold because you got to beat the champion. I said Derek Jeter was the GOAT. Tom Brady was the GOAT, and now you got MJ. So this is the bottom line. That's how you got to be. You got to win. You got to win the rings, and that's it. And that's my topping on the cake for Jordan. That's where you going. That's the only thing you're gonna get me to say nice about him, and that's about it. Now, as far as his characterizations, there are certain things that I took away from these episodes that I could relate. Like, for example, his dad. Like, that shit hit home for me because I I never had a dad in my life to actually see that. So when I saw this, I related that situation to individuals with y'all dads. Like I saw Rock and his dad, and I saw Frank and his dad, and I saw Greg and his family, and Mike and his family. So each one of y'all, I put myself in how y'all related with y'all accolades and what y'all did and what y'all achievements were and how it affected y'all and each individually how it was. So when I saw him and how he cried on the floor when he was on the floor, that was a movie for me. Like that, I ain't going for it. Like that was like that shit hurt me because I was like, damn, that's fucked up. He couldn't be there with his dad. You know what I'm saying? Then he switched over from the 4-5 to the 2-3. That was another moment. That was like, you know what? I ain't playing it. I'm not feeling this 4-5 moment. I'm gonna go back to my 2-3. It showed me that, you know what? This is not. It was like he flipped back over. I tried something new here. It didn't flip. I'm gonna go back to the 2-3, and I'm gonna come back and bust the Knicks' ass, and I'm gonna give them. And again, you know what I mean. So this is where I get like these moments where I'm like, yo, like. But again, he comes back the 5th game and he drops a double nickel. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like these things where he does what makes him this person that he is the type of person that he does. He's a fighter. He never quit. So going back to the baseball moment is like he got out, he left baseball. I'm gonna come and play baseball. I'm gonna do something that I wanted to do. And he did well at baseball. So at first people criticized him and they were like, look, you know, this is how it is, but this is how, and they took the cover for Sports Illustrated and said, you know, whatever they said on the cover, and he got mad at that. But like I said earlier, if you would have seen him and given him the opportunity and put the people that he had in front of him, he probably would have been a hell of a baseball player. To me personally, I like Michael Jordan, the baseball player. I liked it that.
All right.
I like baseball.
So your overall thoughts on the episodes, other than that you don't really fuck with the Bulls, was that you liked the episode? You enjoyed them?
Look, I have mixed feelings. All right, look, my hypocrisy is only going to go but so far. All right, you're only going to get but so much about me about this whole thing with Michael Jordan. I don't like him. I don't like his whole agenda. Yeah, there's some things that I take away from the Last Dance that are relatable. All right, I would admit that this whole Last Dance thing is a moment where you guys can actually take from these pieces, and the generation before us can see and say, you know what, this is what the Bulls dynasty was. We can actually go back and enjoy this because it'll give us a memory to say, you know what, we can review.
All right, can somebody stop moving?
But the rest of these cats, that are here, that are looking up at us and say, what was Michael Jordan and this enormous team that he had with Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, Kukoc, Harper, you know, this team, and they won, and the team, and the 72 wins or the 73 wins that they had, you know, that made them so great.
All right,
they got a chance to see it.
All right. So you touched on the you know, him retiring in '93 after the death of his father. You know, like you said, like, you know, just looking at how like our relationships were with our father, you know, are with our fathers, and everyone knew, and it was documented how his relationship was with his father. What I guess the question is, like, what were your feelings seeing that? Like actually seeing how, you know, because before when Mike's father had passed, like, you know, it was reports on the news, we seen, but you never got Mike's point of view of it. So what was your reaction seeing that from him?
Talking to me?
Anyone? It's just, you know, let's just go ahead, jump in.
I mean, I think based on what I saw when I saw the fact that when Mike didn't have his dad there, I actually saw emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never seen Mike be the point where he never cried or he never showed any kind of fear. The fact that he was actually nervous coming back from the first time playing his game and not coming to the court from not having his dad next to him.
But do you think, I mean to cut you off, do you think him retiring was that a lot due to his father, his death in '93?
I mean, I'd have to say that might have played a part of it. I mean, why wouldn't it? I mean, let me ask Frank this question. Frank, let me ask: if you were in Mike's shoes and you thought that would have been something that would have been taken in, put in part of your situation, being that your dad played a big role in you playing basketball, wouldn't you think that that'd be a part that would be something that would be relatable?
I think
Mike just wanted to play baseball. I think that's why he retired.
Yeah,
I think he got tired of playing basketball, but I also think that having Pop there and him being the person that he needed to have that shoulder to lean on wasn't there to lean on.
Mm-hmm. That his dad was his best friend. Like that's one thing you can see.
Yeah. To get to your question, E. Personally, I think that they already discussed it because Mike already said they discussed it because after that first repeat. He was he said he didn't have any other motivation, and I think by him playing baseball, it was like him and his dad talked about it and saying, okay, by me doing baseball and starting all over again, it's giving him a motivation to do something and a drive to do something and perfect. So I don't think his dad's death had anything to do with it. I just think it put more pressure on him to fulfill that.
Right,
that dream for his dad, and I think once he realized he couldn't do it, I think he had to transition it to back to basketball again.
Okay, all right, that's cool. That's a fair answer.
Like Frank said, like y'all said, he wanted to do it for his dad. Him and his dad had already talked about playing baseball. That was set in stone, and he was 28 after that third championship.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
So that's still giving him time to make that transition to play baseball. Still giving him some years, youth wise, still in his late 20s to play baseball or whatnot. And excuse me, on top of that. Like I said, him and his dad had that set in stone that he was going to play baseball, and he wanted to, make his dad proud. His dad was looking down on him. Mike wanted to make his dad proud and do good in baseball, which that brings me to my question was, now since we're on this topic, if he wasn't successful in baseball, he wasn't successful in baseball. Now, if he was successful, whatever, he had a good year, they bumped him up because regardless of, even if he was average, the name himself, Michael Jordan, is going to get him to the next level because it's going to sell tickets, right? So say he did play baseball when he was actually good, got to the league for a little bit, the MLB. Now, and then he came back. This is what I'm going to say. And then he came back. Do you think he would have been successful in the league like he was and have another 3 if he was successful on the diamond?
I mean, it's been proven already. And you had Deion Sanders, you had Bo Jackson. I don't think Bo Jackson actually won a Super Bowl, but I think Deion did. So
Deion got 3.
Yeah,
and the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm just saying when he played baseball, I think he got a Super Bowl.
Did he get he didn't get one with the
No, they lost.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they lost. Didn't he get? I thought he got one.
No, he don't got no World Series. No, he don't got no baseball World Series.
No. That was a chance to get.
Yeah, with the Braves.
Oh yeah, because the coach didn't play him. The coach didn't play him. Yeah. All right, who's opening the door?
So like I said, he was doing it to make his dad proud. On top of that, you know what I mean?
I mean, could you imagine if Michael Jordan would have been wearing Yankee pinstripes?
He said Yankee when he was in the White Sox farm, he wasn't going to the.
I know, but I mean, think about it. He was already putting ass in seats at the Barons, and he was selling tickets like a madman, just in a AA.
Well, AAA, which is why they didn't put him in AA. Because they couldn't house it.
Yeah, but I just think I think Sports Illustrated just hopped on the gun too early to make something bad about him because he, like you said, he was already hitting the 13-game winning streak, And I think he went on a slump after that, and then that's when ESPN or Sports Illustrated broke that bad thing.
Yeah, because the pitchers started giving him the
he
breaking
couldn't hit
ball.
the breaking
pitches,
ball.
And that's when he.
Yeah. So.
And on top of that, he was having a hard time
adjusted
tracking balls down in the outfield.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to figure. But you're talking about. Hold on, you're talking about a guy that went from basketball straight into baseball. These guys been playing baseball all their lives, you know. So
and they put him in AAA instead of AA.
Right. So
to the Wolves.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, they put him to the Wolves. You know, baseball. Real quick, baseball is tough, man. I don't know if anybody played baseball like that, but I played till I was 13. That's tough, man.
I played baseball when I was about 16, 17, so I know about baseball too.
I played baseball a couple years ago.
To go back and play.
Yeah, right. Like once that ball looked like it was coming to my head, I was done. Like, nah, bro.
Right? I was like, I'm good.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm good.
That's why I was like, I just imagined like the fact
going
that
back to play after all that time. It's crazy. Play baseball, basketball. You know, you could get back on the court after a while, but baseball,
yeah.
All right, so you know, he came back, and then they get into the part where he was, you know, you touched on it, Frank. You know, MJ, you know, you said you touched with all three of y'all touched on it. MJ pushing his teammates to be better, but on this, they, you know, in particular, Scotty Burrell, you know. Him talking trash to him.
He was a bum.
He was. What you mean? He was tough in Connecticut.
Scotty Burrell. He was a high draft pick. He was tough. He was tough.
Yeah, that's why MJ was like, you can't play at Connecticut and be, you know, especially back in the, you know, those 90s. You know what I mean? Like
being all soft and
shit. You can't come in being soft because you know you had a lot of people that came from Connecticut.
Let me rephrase that. You know, because we're on the podcast. He's not a bum. Nobody in the league is a bum.
Yeah, the league is not a bum.
Oh yeah, we are.
He just it's just some players get to the league like now. Some players get to the league and they just get comfortable. And Mike was, and especially on Mike's team, he's not going to have that. You know what I mean? And that's what happened with Scott Burrell. Scott Burrell was like, you know what? Even MJ said, he's like, you're not going to just come to this team and just ride the wave. Because he said the same thing between Will Purdue and all those other guys.
Purdue was gone. It was Kerr. It was Kerr and all them.
Kerr, Wellington. He was like, you're not just gonna come here and just be riding the wave and just be, we on a championship team. So that's why he got on him. I feel the same way too. Like, you're not just gonna come to the team and be like, and just go through the motion. Like, nah, that's not gonna happen.
But you notice there was nobody on that Bulls team with a bark except for Jordan. Like there was nobody else that was gonna.
Well, no, Jordan knew who to go after. Like you don't see him go. Like he went after Pippen, so people don't talk about that.
Yeah.
He went after Pippen and picked Pippen up.
A bunch of pussies. That's why. God.
No, it's not. He didn't. You didn't see. No, he went after. He didn't go after Dennis because Dennis was doing his job.
Right, because Dennis would have beat his ass if he would have said some shit to him. That's right.
We don't know that. We don't know that. Remember. Dennis. I mean, Dennis might look crazy, but at the same time, he's soft inside. But he's soft inside too.
Dennis would have been somewhere painting his toenails. He wasn't trying to fight Mike, man.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, he'd have been like.
Let me tell you something. The only
he
thing
looked
I
up to Mike too much to do that. Like he looked at Mike like Mike was
fine.
like,
but you gotta look. But hold on.
I respect that.
Hold on. I'm gonna ask you this. E and Castano and Whitford. Look who the players that he had on his team besides Pippen and besides Robin.
Don't forget. Right? Don't forget
those other guys.
Hold on. I know we're on the Burrell. I know you're talking about the second.
I'm talking about the second one. So those other guys, like those guys are like probably on the bench somewhere on other teams. So he had to push them to succeed, and that's why they was able to win 72 games.
Okay.
With that team.
Time out.
Okay, so
you know what I mean?
Let me say something real quick. There's a fine line. There's a fine line between pushing somebody and disrespecting somebody and making somebody feel.
He called him a hoe.
You gonna tell me? You gonna tell me? You gonna tell me? You gonna tell me you never been in practice? You never been in practice where
there's been
a coach or somebody, you know, whoever was coaching didn't like come at you and disrespect you?
That's what I'm saying. That's my
Exactly. He
point.
called him a hoe.
That's my point.
But I'm talking.
Hold on.
That's a grown man.
If I'm on the court
That's a
and we
grown.
talking, we going back and forth, and I call you a hoe, a bitch, pussy, like
a pussy.
You.
Well, it depends on the references. It depends on the reference. So if we playing ball, The Rock, if we playing ball and you're not playing to the century that you usually play, I'm gonna be like, yo, stop playing like a bitch or stop playing like this. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna sit there and be cordial with it. I'll do the same thing with Whitford. I'll do the same thing with Castaño. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, come on, no, stop playing like a pussy. Stop playing like a bitch. That's what I'm gonna say. So
I guess in different situations it might be different. I just feel like the way he came across to this guy in this case, and then the way he did with Steve Kerr after that was just why I feel like it didn't change my perspective of him any other different because
that's when it comes down. That's when he called Kerr and he made up. I think that would made it seem like that's just like me and you. That's just like me and you. Like us, we on the court, and all of a sudden, like we get so frustrated, we get so hype on the game where we get into a little competition. It's just because of the it's just because it's between the lines. It's not outside of the lines. It's inside the lines where we're just trying to win. We just being competitive, and it's just like that modesty that's on the court.
Yeah, I know I've been there where we wanted to, we got upset with a teammate and wanted to fight him before. Like you just competitive. You just into it, like they may be fouling you or which, we'll get into that with the Kerr situation, or, you may be trying to push them and then they say something back to you. Like, I know Mike would have called me a hoe. And Frank, I don't never remember you calling me a bitch. We had some words.
Or pussy.
But I know Mike would have called me a hoe. Like, it would have been something different. Like, yo, who the fuck you talking to like that, bro? Like, but Scotty Burrell wasn't like that.
Yeah, nobody was that.
Yeah,
he wasn't. That's like what I'm saying.
Yeah, but see, that's the. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll take it in every difference because I guess I mean, I guess because I know what the difference is. If like I know the difference on the court than off the court. And I know you can tell in somebody's voice if they really mean it. Besides if it's like so. People, you might say that. Oh, I'm gonna step at the mic. It depends. It's on the court. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just have different views on that.
This is my opinion. Like E said, this is my fucking opinion, and this is it. So fucking to me on that second Bulls team, there was no toughness, man. Besides Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, there was no toughness on that team.
Well, remember that third repeat. But you remember the league started softening up by then. It wasn't like the first repeat. Remember, like that because I think you couldn't hand check then, and more fragrant fouls were coming. I think they stopped
the hand checking after the 99 shit, man. After that,
but I don't remember the league being tough after that.
But that's because people won't clothesline them motherfuckers out the air, and it wasn't. It was just a regular foul.
Yeah.
Go away. My bad.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about toughness. Like,
they didn't have the
he had no toughness.
Nah.
Yeah, they didn't have the personnel. They didn't have the personnel to do that. They didn't have
probably had the most toughness outside of Jordan.
Who Kerr? They'll stop bringing out this boy Kerr, man.
No, that's in practice with Phil and everybody else there to protect him. Like if this was on the park playground, Kerr wouldn't have stood up to him. Nah, but that wasn't Burrell's makeup. I mean, everyone has different makeup.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't matter. Mike was disrespecting the shit out of Burrell.
Yeah, but he was pushing Burrell, and like when Burrell was playing, I mean, I'm not gonna say Burrell went to average 15, but he started, doing what he needed to do when he got in the game.
Well, like Mike say, he was doing that to them so that when times got tough during the game, they knew how to react.
They know how to react.
Wasn't like if he pushes them hard in practice, the game is easy. Like the game is easier because you see all this shit in practice every day from Mike. Like Mike pushing you, might grab you, might talking shit to you, which is what, a lot of the dudes in the NBA do. So, like, if you're able to take it from him, who was the best at the time, in the game, there ain't nothing. Like, man, Mike do this shit every day. You ain't him. You know what I'm saying? That's all he was doing. He was just trying to lead. And like he said, he didn't do things to them that ask things of them that he wouldn't do.
He didn't go through.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And so now,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't think that wasn't really a tough.
No, they had no quote unquote tough guy. They ain't have no Charles Oakley or no. Nobody like that on the squad that would go out and just be a goon on the court. Nah, they didn't have that. Nah.
Ron Harper.
Ron Harper was never tough. Not like a tough guy like that. Like he was nice when he was younger.
Not like a tough guy, but I'm saying like attitude wise, like tough, like
they didn't have that. They didn't have that. Not with no Phil. Not with Phil on the team. I don't think Phil never had a tough team besides Shaq. And Shaq couldn't. Shaq couldn't even hit nobody.
Shaq was one of the nicest dudes, and like he wasn't no tough guy like that. He was just
right. But I'm just saying, every time he tried to fight, he always missed.
Shaq missed on purpose. If you'd have hit Brad Miller, boy. If you'd have hit Brad,
that's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. He's like, that's what he said. But he got dumped by Charles Barkley, though.
Barkley know how to fight. Like, nigga, nah, your big ass, I'm taking your legs away from you. Like, the fuck? I'm not gonna try to sit up there and stand up with you. Like, nah, bro. Get on this ground here. All right. They touched on Pip, the 94-96 team with Pip as the leader. Pip, this is what, when I seen this part, this is when I seen that Pip, like LeBron is more like Pip, right? Like we seen like when they touched on Mike cussing at Burrell and then the stuff they touched on with Steve Kerr later, like Mike was like, nah, motherfucker, this is what Pip was more like, everybody let's hang out. I'm gonna move the ball around. What's your viewpoints on Pip as a leader of the Bulls when Mike was retired and playing baseball?
I'll take this one. I don't think Pip was really a leader. I think he just thought he was a leader after Mike left because he was the second guy. But once he realized like what it entails and how hard it was, he was like, "What? Like, you're not gonna quit on your team because the ball ain't going to you." That was crazy. Like I don't see LeBron. I don't see LeBron doing that, but I just see the similarities in their games.
When him passing and moving the ball, Mike wasn't like like Pitt was more like I'm gonna get everybody involved.
Yeah,
and when you do that, no damn court
we know
that. Right, but you gotta But this was what the difference between Mike being a leader and when you have players like Mike is.
Hey, I might walk
when you have that.
No, the fuck he won't.
When you have that killer. When you have a killer. Hold on. When you have that killer on the court, you can that he's going to take that last shot. He's going to win the game, and you don't have to rely. You don't have to rely on a lot of people. With Pip and LeBron being like a leader, they rely on their teammates. So like. It's an iffy situation, in that scenario. You know what I mean? And I think with Pip just doing that and not going on the court on the last play just showed a lot of his character, and his teammates was like, I don't know if Pip is the leader or not. Like, you know what I mean? And then he want to come back and apologize. Like, I mean, me being a player, I'm like, nah, like you don't do that. You know what I mean? So I didn't bang with that. I disagree with that whole situation with
I'll tell you who showed up. I'll tell you who was the leader on that team right then and there. Kukoc. That boy showed his hand.
He stepped up. He stepped up.
He had already hit six. So they had said like 6 game winners throughout the season. So I understand Phil, calling that play.
You step up and when you get your
and Pip couldn't really shoot like that too. So it was like, he was a streaky shooter. So it was like, why would you have Pip shake the last shot? Like, I know I wouldn't.
That's exactly what I said. When you get your number called, and you got to get your number called, and it's time for you to shoot. You got to take that shot. Phil knew that, and he was like, "You know what? That you got to take."
But the difference between Pip and LeBron, though, real quick, was. Like, you remember they showed, like, LeBron, and I know this ain't about LeBron, but when David Black was the coach, and he was calling to play for somebody else, and LeBron was like, what? Nah, that shit coming to me. Like that's the difference, because like even though LeBron may find the open shooter,
Yeah,
the
that's what I
ball's gonna
said.
be in
Yeah,
my hand, bro. Like, nah, you ain't
yeah,
running no bullshit for
yeah.
like the ball coming to me and I'll facilitate. You know, go ahead with my bad. Go ahead now.
No, I'm saying, you know, I actually, at first a little bit, it was a little weird to me, seeing, Jordan not playing and seeing like Pippen doing this thing. You know, it was weird at first. Even playing the video games, all the basketball games, it was just no Jordan on the team. But you know, it was a good thing. You know, I became a big Scottie Pippen fan. You know, and it gave everybody a chance to see Scottie Pippen without Jordan. You know, I honestly thought, you know, after that season, maybe Scottie Pippen was going to get traded because, you know, he was doing so good. And I was like, damn, well, shit, Scottie Pippen's going to end up getting traded because he's not going to want to, you know.
And that was his best season, though. Like, that was his best season, though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that was his best season. Like, there's some players that had that one season, and then after that, it's like, can you keep it going? You know, it's not.
We didn't know Jordan was going to come back. So,
yeah, but they were struggling though. Remember, they were barely 500 when he got back.
Like, you see, he had the shoes and was pointing like, "Come back."
He was like, yeah, they were barely 500.
But what was I saying? Yeah, and they lost to the Mets.
Well, that's when Mike came back.
Yeah.
Mike had, but he came back with what, like 20 games left, something like that. Not even something like that.
Yeah, I think they were like 30 and 30. Yeah, like 20-something games left.
Yeah, but back to Pip. You know, like I said, I gave everybody a chance to see him play without Mike, and like you said, I like the way he played. I like the way he facilitated the ball. You know, he moved it around. I don't really think he wanted that shine like that. I don't think he wanted to take.
I think he did, and then he just realized like it's too much.
I'm not gonna say too much.
I think
because he said it. He said it in the interview. Remember in the interview, he was like, if that situation happened again, he would do the same exact thing.
Well, he also knew the heat that he would take.
Yeah.
Critics wise.
Yeah.
That if he didn't
see, I think with the Pip, you know, final point. I think with Pip though, like he had just expected Phil to give him that last shot, right? So when Phil didn't give it to him, instead of him being like, because they say he wasn't like a vocal guy, like that wasn't him. So instead of him just being like I said, LeBron was like, what? Nah, that shit coming to me. You know, like, or if Phil, I mean, Phil would have never did this, but if let's say he would have drew up a play for somebody else when Mike was on the team, we know Mike would have been like, you tripping. Like, all right, let's, you know, just give me the ball and move out of the way. Like Pitt wasn't boisterous like that. He just expected it because he was, like I say, that was his best year. He was like all-star MVP. Like he averaged like damn near 30. Like he expecting like, this is my squad. I'm getting his last shot. You know, and then, you know, now we're going to the you know, the coup coach coming over from Europe and getting that last shot. Castano, I know you had touched on it. You want to go ahead and give some more views on that?
Tony Coup Clutch.
Well, just to touch up real quick. I mean, Pip, like you said earlier, Pip and LeBron, to me, no comparison. Don't ever make that mistake.
I'm just saying how they got their teams. Like Pip averaged 29 that year, bro. He was hooping.
Give a damn what you say about that. Don't ever do that again.
He was like 29.
He had LeBron
like
numbers, bro.
Yeah. He's just bigger. All
right, go ahead, man. Like you know, I'm a LeBron fan too, so I don't give that compliment out like lightly like that. So go ahead.
But the low point is that whole walk-off crap. I thought that was whack. It didn't show any character. Didn't show anything else. But it just shined the light on Coup Coach because Coup Coach stepped up, and that was his highlight of this moment. And that just shows you that, like I said earlier, you got to have when your number gets punched, you got to step up to the call, and that's what he did. So it's just, you know, it goes just when, you know, luck favors the prepared, y'all. I mean, point blank and simple. If you're ready and you're ready to go, you're ready. And Kukoc, I felt like he always had been in the shadows of the shadows. You know what I'm saying? And he's been like that one dude. No matter what, he stuck around and he played and then
He was a smart player, very smart player.
and he's young.
Yeah, that's what I picked up from
talented.
this. I forgot how talented Kukoc was. Yeah.
He was very talented, consistent. Where he had a very good back, he had a very good
smooth.
shot. He was very talented. He came from a very fundamental background. I like the way he played, and where he was lacking defense, obviously. But I mean,
European players play defense.
Right. That's why Phil Jackson always got in his ass. But nonetheless, he still was a very, very good player. And when people picked him up, that was a very big focal point, and that I felt that took a little bit of stress off of Scotty, because when Jordan left, that also gave them the triangle was able to work a little bit more effortlessly with Kukoc and Kerr and Pip.
Horace was still on that team too. Grant was still on that squad.
Because you didn't have a dominant ball person.
When you have those role players on that team, like you said earlier, who was on that team? You had Pip and Kukoc
and Horace Grant.
Kerr,
Grant was on that squad.
The role.
Yeah.
Okay, Horace Grant, but you still had these other role players that were coming in that helped facilitate that triangle offense way better than we started. So.
Yeah, but it's not gonna win you no championship.
They did not.
They came close. They came close though. They got to the East. That was the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks, right? Yeah, they got close. They got close.
Yeah, 7. Yeah,
it was 7. Was it 7 games? Right? It was.
But 7. It was Mike though.
Yeah, they got close, bro.
7 games.
They got close.
But you gotta remember. But you gotta remember it. You gotta remember the Knicks probably got to the championship a couple more times.
A lot of teams would have got.
They're probably right, and of course. But we're talking about MJ. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like you talking about a guy that's
the next wasn't beating
basketball, but for the rest of his whole life. But obviously, you got to give credit to where credit due. That's wonderful. First of all, that was great coaching by Phil Jackson. I'll give him that. And then you had good, and the other guy, the assistant coach that showed him how to run that triangle offense, actually gave him the opportunity to run that. And then you had the players that helped to facilitate. So overall, that team could have won that championship if they did have a score. Maybe not Michael Jordan. Maybe if you had a Penny Hardaway.
I don't know, because they was playing the Spurs, and Spurs play that slow.
Who was playing the Spurs?
That move the ball.
No.
Didn't the Spurs win it?
Houston won.
When they lost?
Yeah, Houston won.
Oh, it was Houston. It was Houston.
Yeah. Because they won't go beat Houston.
They wouldn't have beat Houston.
No. Hell no.
He would have won.
But again, my point is just to go back to what you were asking with Kukoc, fundamentally good player. And he was a very, like I said, and I think he helped facilitate that team.
So you agree? You think that was,
Yeah.
like you said, that was a good play with Phil calling the last shot for Kukoc?
I wouldn't disagree on it. No.
Yeah, I agree on that too. I mean, there's not too many left-handers.
You can't argue with that.
Especially when he was coming off 6 game winners. And get 6 or 7 game winners, and Pippen didn't have what? You know what I mean? Mind you, I could understand Pippen's argument.
Okay.
But if you're a team player, like you said, and you're trying to win championships, you got to put your ego aside. Got to put your ego aside.
Pippen getting the last shot.
Yeah, but
I was a coach.
Yeah, but would you expect him to be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, no, the ball coming to me.
Yeah, he gonna be pissed. Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's not shooting a shot.
Frank, so
not when you have Kerr and Kukoc on. You know what I mean? Set shooters.
Whoa.
We're gonna paint the scenario, Frank. We're gonna paint the scenario.
Pippen is not a shooter.
He's a scorer.
I'm not having him shooting.
He's a scorer. Yeah,
he's a scorer. He's not. Yeah,
that's even better. Why the hell would you put Steve Kerr in this goddamn conversation?
Who said Steve Kerr?
With the last second.
Oh, hell no. He can't have the ball.
Shooter.
Like you mean you pass him the ball? Oh, okay.
No, not have the ball.
Oh yeah.
I'm set him up. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happened to Kukoc. They set a play for Kukoc as a set play, and they lobbed over his head.
It wasn't no dribble time. It was just catch and shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not doing that with Pippen. I'm sorry, because Pippen, I watch Pippen. Pippen can't really shoot like that. He's more of he's a scorer and he's a streaky shooter.
I was gonna say that, Frank. You're right. You rarely see Pippen.
Oh no, that's not him.
No. Doing this thing crazy. Like,
the basket.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, now, moving on. Was that dunk over Ewing the most disrespectful dunk in NBA history? Pip over Ewing?
Oh my gosh, man.
Probably. If not that one, the one that Michael Jordan did on you.
I think Pips was more disrespectful though.
Listen, that was Pippen's was worse, yo.
Or what was the one? Hold on. What was the one where Jordan he dunked on somebody and he like was yelling over their face?
Ewing.
Was that Ewing?
Yeah,
was that Ewing? Or was that Morning?
I don't know.
Was that Alonzo Morning?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's when he went fake.
Oh yeah, because they was fucking him up, and he can't.
Yeah. I don't know. That joint right there.
Push Ewing ass down like the fuck off me.
That joint right there.
Walked over him.
Yeah, but when you dunk somebody and they on the floor and you over top them, like that's crazy. But
that shit, yo. Every time I see that dunk, I was like, God, yo, I would have got up and beat his ass, yo.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Can I get the stage for 1 second, gentlemen?
Good.
All right. So right now, everybody with me for 1 second. Just 1 second. Y'all ready?
Yeah, we're here, man.
Okay. Now, just think of Pippen driving to the lane right now and jamming on Ewing. Just think about it.
All right.
What?
It's that bad.
What? This ball.
Yo, that's just that disrespect.
Yeah. That's one of the most.
Think about
it's
it.
Up there. It's up there.
I don't know. I think that one. That one and Jordan one. Yeah, that one and Jordan one. I don't know.
Who's the key factor in both of those? Ewing. My bad. Had to get that in there.
Ewing.
The way he threw him to the ground was disrespectful.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It kind of stood over him real quick.
Any comments? He?
Yeah.
I'm not getting into that. All right, moving on. Now, moving on. I'm not getting into that because Mike was not. Mike did not get
We're not getting that.
Stop it.
Right? That's what I try to tell E. E try to put that up there.
Stop it.
No.
He didn't dunk on her.
He dunked on all three of them in the story.
I've been saying that for years. Nobody Jordan fan will admit that. Yo, he jumped, bro.
He jumped, but he was off to the side.
He did. He was behind like two people.
All right, man. All right. Moving on. Do you think Mike's intensity made him a bad guy?
It didn't make him a good guy. It didn't make him a good guy.
He was the bad. Listen, he was the undercover bad guy.
It didn't make him a good guy.
Right? Y'all ain't playing on my team.
Listen, listen. I'm just telling you how it is.
I don't care.
He was an undercover bad guy, and this is why. This is why these episodes are bringing it out.
I'm sorry.
Look, I don't care.
I don't like. To me, I don't think he was a bad guy.
You're not playing on my team.
That's just he was just. He was just.
They on our team, right? They're not on our team.
So you just gotta. He just wanted you just to match his intensity. He's not saying like go out there and match my skill level because nobody could. Like, but when you on the court, like you should be playing with this intensity I'm playing with. You know. Yeah.
Right. Play hard.
Rock and Frank and people on the team in E. They are complaining about him.
You complaining about winning championships?
There's nobody complaining. There was nobody they made it seem like that. The only person that was really mad at there was nobody really complaining. They just never had that before, so it was something new to them. And the only person that was really upset with him was Craig Hodges because Craig Hodges was from Chicago, and Craig Hodges wanted back then.
To be more
Craig Hodges wanted MJ to go out into the community to help, the more active because. Remember, Craig Hodges was a Muslim, so he was trying to, he was on that whole movement, and he wanted MJ to take that responsibility. And MJ was like, "That's not me," You know what I mean? But
Even with
besides,
Purdue,
but
he said
Horace
he's like
Grant and all them,
was Mike tough? Was Mike an asshole? Yeah, but
yeah,
he was a winner. Yeah, like we won.
Yeah.
Like
the story.
6 chips. Yeah.
He was an asshole.
Well, I think Jeff Bush was going.
You know, when we play ball, we the same exact way. We don't let nothing go easy or nothing like
But he
that.
was an
So
asshole too. Don't get a fucked up.
hold on, I wasn't one.
I'm
right?
just saying.
I wasn't
I'm just saying.
right?
We just want to win.
Oh,
You
fuck
had your moment
you.
too.
Well, my fault. You was trying to. Well, my fault. You was trying to.
We
shoot
just
threes.
when you had that passion.
So what?
Yeah.
Yo.
We'd know the same thing. We'd know the same thing when he played with me. When he be playing, you know, he be playing to his best abilities. I'd be on him too.
I ain't say too much to Wick because
he know the same exact
maybe
way.
he looked at me like I was older. I don't know. I ain't say too much to him, but I cussed the shit out of my brothers though. Like,
if y'all could have told me what I was.
Oh yeah, no, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Frank used to get on me though.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes you better.
Yeah,
I mean, if nobody else do it, you think you're doing good, but you're really not. You know, I'd rather somebody, you know.
Yeah. Corner.
The breakaway layup, and the breakaway layups.
Hey, listen, the breakaway layups was my worst.
What do you mean? Hold on. Which E are you talking about, Castano or Whipper?
Whipper, fast break layups, boy. It's more panics.
You know what? No, because I know I may have people from my high school listen. I missed a lot of breakaway layups, bro. Because like you by yourself, right? And you just like, hold up. But then what I started thinking was, like, you know what? I'm gonna try to go up and try to put this bitch in the rim instead of trying to like do the regular off the backboard, you know, like. So you ain't by yourself on that, E.
Listen. Yeah. It was so bad that.
Oh yeah, but that deserves that. As soon as you miss, you already know you coming up. Yeah.
There's no way you play high school, you missing a layup.
Listen, the bad thing is, I would have like 5, 6, 7 steals.
Yeah.
On them breakaway layups, and 3 of them shits was a guarantee. But you know how you can see it going off the back. You're like, oh, in the air, like, God damn.
I would be too. They laughed at me.
Right there, laughing, dying.
All right. So then it jumps back into the 98, the start of the playoffs, playing against BJ and the Hornets, and BJ having the game of his life.
I loved it.
For the wrong reason.
For real, I was upset when BJ left the Bulls. BJ was one of my favorite players when he was on the Bulls. I like BJ. I thought BJ was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he got
that's his contract. I don't think he wanted to leave, but yeah.
Get your bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, you got a little payday right there.
Yeah. I think some of those players left because they didn't think Mike was coming back.
He was hooping that game. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We actually got a chance to see BJ Armstrong play.
Hey, yeah, about to say, and
not get past the first round.
Then there's the next game.
You know.
Hey, well, Jordan.
Go ahead.
Well, we're probably gonna get into that, but yeah. I was gonna say that dude killed Jordan, man, and even though he came back and killed him the next night, ain't nobody killed Jordan.
Well, he didn't kill Jordan. He had like 17 points, 18 points.
Yeah, he had like 30 something. No, he did. He had like 30 something. He went off for like 30.
He had no 30. Nah, somebody looked that up.
No, they said it was on the whole document.
Somebody looked that up.
Watch it again.
I don't think he had no 30. Oh, all right. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to look that up.
We'll get into that. No, Frank get denied. E, what was your viewpoint on BJ that first game with the Hornets against the Bulls in the 98?
Well, I thought it was great basketball by BJ Armstrong. Bad move on his part because you woke up the demon because that's what happens when you run your mouth. And game 2, what happened?
No, they didn't. It was over.
I don't think they won a game after that.
Yo, you see when Mike was in the locker room with the bat, like, yeah, you talking when you up, 30. How's that work when when game when scored 0-0 or like Mike was like he was so calm in the locker room, like, they won. He just had a game. We'll see next game. Yeah, and BJ was nice.
Everybody's due for one.
Him having a good game. Nah, BJ was nice, bro. Fuck that shit.
BJ was okay.
BJ. Dog, how
much he averaged his career?
He played on the team with Michael
BJ
Jordan.
Okay.
Nobody is going to score more than that. Like you got 20. You got 30 with Mike. You got 20, 25 with
but when he went to
BJ coming in with 15, 18. You know what I mean? Like that's a solid player.
And, I don't know about all that. But didn't he go to Charlotte?
He hooped. You see,
What he do at Charlotte?
Yeah, BJ beat Mike now.
BJ was all right.
Go with
stupid.
Hold on. 1 second.
Oh, you looking up his
BJ's,
his averages? Why Whit looking that up? This
he averaged 9
for his career.
That's what you had with your team. That's what you had with your team.
Hold on. What about the years he was with the Bulls? He averaged no damn 9.
Yes, it was with the Bulls.
Hey, them 9 points were good 9 points, bro. You needed them 9 points, bro.
All right, 1990, he averaged.
He wasn't starting then. 92, 93, 94. No, 92, 93,
we're gonna stop.
94.
We should stop. Just stop. He's an okay player. He's an okay player. That's it.
Games. He played
hold on, 92. What did he average?
He's an okay player. Stop it.
93.
8.8.
Hold on. Man, what kind of phone you got? That's an iPhone. All right, man. On to the next topic. Ain't nobody believing it. Siri done changed the numbers on that bullshit.
I told you.
Hold on. 1 second. Let me finish.
There you go.
I told you.
93, he averaged 12.3. 94, 93.
There we go.
93, 94, he averaged 14.
No, 93 was with the Bulls.
And that was in Charlotte.
That's all right though. That's BJ, bro.
That's what Jordan left though. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
He averaged that with the thing, and 1 year with the Golden State Warriors, he averaged.
That's all right. That's what you're supposed to do.
The most probably because they had nobody.
Take what you learned from MJ, go and kill with the other team. You know how that is. Hey, no, I didn't. Hey, man.
He's an okay player.
He averaged 12.3 with the Warriors, but yeah, his most average was 93, 94.
I tell you, boy. So he
then
nice.
in 95, Mike came back from retirement. Like you said earlier, Frank, I think they was almost damn near 500. They was 34 and 31 at the time. Everybody seen the famous Pip hold, wearing the Jordan, holding it up and tell him to come back. When Mike came back, I actually remember that against Indiana. I was happy to see him back on the court for sure, but he didn't look nothing like Mike though, right? Like he wasn't in basketball shape. I wish y'all views on that, man. Like it was good to see him. I was happy he was back. I was like, yeah, basketball is back. Mike's back. The Bulls gonna be the back.
It didn't look like Mike.
I was, I was a Mike fan, and I follow I ain't gonna say all the greats, but I thought him coming back, well, he can win this.
Thought, but then he didn't look like himself.
You know what I mean? Like he can do this. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I mean, when you saw, especially when he played in Orlando, when he started shooting those air balls, you're like, all right, well, yeah, he did have awful, not Mike Dunn. He just had, like you just like, all right, Mike, hey, what's going on? I know you come from baseball, but then like when he came back, and it was just like, all right, he didn't miss a step. He was just he went on vacation like Dennis Rodman. That's what that was. But it is what it is.
But you was happy
he used
when
as
he came
motivation
back, right?
and swept them the next round, next year.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I always watched it.
Yeah, I actually started watching basketball again.
At that time when Mike left, I was more into college. That's when I was watching like AI and all them, and Georgetown. Go ahead, either E. Castano with y'all. Go ahead, jump in.
So.
Oh, who
said you was a big Saul Stain fan?
No, I ain't like Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah, I ain't like Kentucky.
Remember Tubby Smith's son, Saul Smith?
Oh yeah.
I said Saul. I meant Saul Smith. Go ahead, E.
I was fine with him being retired. And I wasn't too thrilled about him coming back.
He was like, no more finals for us.
I was fine with him, his ass staying right right where he was at playing baseball. I'm sure Frank, doesn't want to hear that shit, but that's just.
I was not watching basketball if Mike wasn't there because the team that was left. Oh my god. I ain't watching them though. I watch them in the finals.
I watched Houston in the finals.
Orlando was Iowa.
Those are the other teams you watch in the finals. You ain't gonna watch no game. They're highlight team. You're not gonna watch them.
How did you feel with Mike coming back? Was you happy? Didn't care?
I was happy because honestly, at that time, like Jordan, was the only player I really followed. I knew other players in the league. But,
you wanted to be like Mike. I get it.
Let's watch TV. Got it.
All right, then.
Yeah.
But damn, that ain't.
I wanted to be like Shaq, but
So he came back, didn't look like himself, like we said against Indiana, but then 5 games in the Mecca.
That's
double
when
nickel.
I was like, you know what? That's the Mike I know. Mike is back.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, Mike just needed a couple games to get in shape. Mike back now. Like, these motherfuckers in trouble now.
Yeah. And I was and I was like, I still remember that.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan really back. Like Jordan's back. Jordan is back playing basketball. Like, all right, here we go. I don't know about that 45. That's why even as a fan, the 45 that don't do nothing for me.
Yeah.
The jersey number 45.
Well, he said he wore 45 because that was his high school number.
And then when he came back, remember they had already retired 23, so he kept it retired. And he just stayed with the 45.
Yeah.
E. We talk about the Knicks now. Go ahead, man. I know this is your favorite. Does he not want to talk?
Go ahead. I don't know, but I knew. Hold on, I want to touch on that subject with the 45. With you knew Mike wasn't.
Yeah, that was great.
You knew Mike wasn't ready because they said he had his shorts on backwards as well. So he knew he was all messed up. He didn't know what was going on.
Well, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, the guy comes back and drops 55 points in the Garden. 55 points. What do you expect? He's in the Garden.
His dirt.
This is where he always does his dirt. This is where he always shits on everybody. This is where he always gonna wipe his ass on. So this is what 55 points is 55 points. I mean, hey, what do you want me to tell you? Like, I ain't got nothing to say about that. That's
he was killing John Stark.
Shit.
I still
All right,
think
then they
John Starks
go.
dunked on
Then
them
they
with
make it to the
the
playoffs. The Orlando
Here we go.
Magic, Penny, Shaq. That squad was deep, bro. That squad was deep.
Listen,
And Horace Grant
one
was
of my
balling.
favorite
Like
teams.
that
One
squad
of my favorite
was.
teams
That was an alright squad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They were, yeah, man. They were young, so they knew what they had to.
Great squad. That was a
Yeah, they knew what they had to do with the Bulls. They had to outrun them and tire out Jordan, and that's what happened. They started shooting all those air balls, and his legs wasn't underneath them, and that's what you do.
Can we talk about that Magic team for a second, real quick?
Yeah, and that's what probably Horace Grant probably told him, like, look, Mike ain't back to 100%. Let's just keep running them. They were good. Don't get me wrong. They were
everything.
They had inside
out.
I don't think they had a leader. They had a lot of
a leader.
Yeah,
no, they didn't have no leader. They had a lot of players that could just
still
play,
young.
but they had a leader to be like.
Penny was young too.
Yeah,
he was just yeah, they was
Penny
young.
wasn't a leader. Like Penny was more. Yeah.
Penny was more like the silent killer type shit.
Yeah, they just needed that leader to, or like a couple more years underneath their belt to really have that experience, and they would have been a tough team. Don't get me wrong.
Well, what I'm saying is, like I was saying, I just wanted to touch that subject about the Magic. That's one of my favorite teams of all times. One of them. I mean, Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson, Shaq, Penny. From inside out, man, they had it all. They had the set shooters, they had the 3-point shooters. You had Penny. To me, Penny was like a young, not even he was just T-Mac reminds me of Penny. Like a young T-Mac reminds me of Penny. But Penny, man, could just do it all, man. He could pass, he could attack the basket, and then you just had Shaq.
Yeah, they were just unexperienced. Yeah, they were a good team.
With the Tracy McGrady reference, I got tongue twisted real quick because I was thinking.
Go ahead, E. Casano.
And they're both number one.
Want to touch on that one? E. I guess he was there. Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was on the bench where he belonged.
Nah. He was on the bench. Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. You want to touch on the Orlando?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just saying that I didn't really pay attention to that series because I was hooked on Shaq. So I liked the Shaq. That was one of my favorite big guys. So I just liked to watching him play. And so that particular series, my eyes were all on Shaq. So when he was just doing his thing, I was just happy to see Jordan lose that season. So I didn't really care.
And plus, I went to see Blue Chip, so I was like a big fan.
I mean, seeing Mike, Mike never in close out situations. You never seen Mike like turn the ball over. You know what I mean? Like get stripped like that. Nick Anderson taking the ball from him. That was, that was like. But then Nick Anderson fucked up and say that 45 doesn't look like 23. And then after they lose that. It was funny because Tim Grover, the infamous trainer of MJ and everybody now in the league, was saying that he was in the locker room after that and told Mike, like, hey, let me know when you're ready to start up, training, And Mike say, all right, see you tomorrow. This is the night that they lose to Orlando. He started training for the next season the next day.
Yeah.
You gotta train, man. That's the key to success.
He hated losing. How you
gonna prepare
yourself?
Losing
and then losing like that, like that shit. That was his motivation again. That gave him extra motivation.
Yeah, but that's that passion.
The whole thing again after taking a year off.
Hell yeah, I did.
What you say?
I did.
I think Mike thought that he was actually gonna come back.
Yeah,
I don't think he was playing just to play.
He did. I did. I know he did. Nobody.
Well, he came close. He came close.
He came close. He came close. He came close. But I mean, that's when you have a passion for
He came close.
when you have the passion for the game.
And come back and win a championship. You can't do it.
Yeah,
drives you.
Yeah, but when you have a passion for something, you know, it drives you, man. No matter if it's a loss, it's a win, whatever. Like, you know, you're gonna prepare yourself so this stuff don't happen again.
You want to jump in on that, bro?
That's just what it is. When you have that passion for it.
Again, you know, he could have stayed retired if that wasn't the case, man. You know. But again,
but speak on the passion. You gotta realize, like, the passion, like the same way you have passion for like men's fashion and like in suits and stuff like that. Like, you're not gonna let us walk out the house looking right. You know what I mean? Because that's your That's something that you love.
I respect that part. All right, look.
That's the part I want to hear. Like,
you want to hear me to talk about the fashion of the game of the guy? Yeah. All right, look.
No, not the fashion, but more the passion. Like, his passion for basketball is your passion for.
He not getting MJ praise.
You're not gonna get a whole lot of.
He respects him.
You're not gonna give me this because I gave you the praise earlier. I dislike the man, but I will give you his grit and he does that, and he's hardworking, and he's got he has the drive. You want to know where Kobe got his
from that mentality? Yeah, I mean, but Kobe has his own mentality. Like, he didn't get that from Mike. Like, Kobe just had that embedded in him, which, like Frank was saying, the great ones do. Like, they drive themselves.
He had the same drive.
But the seed was planted due to Mike.
No.
Right?
I get what you're saying.
His seed was already planted. Him
watching tapes of Mike. I get what you're saying. Yeah, he did. He said that's all he would get was the Bulls game.
He didn't watch. That's what I'm saying. He didn't watch tapes of Mike. He watched tapes of Mad. No. It was the Magic. It was not the Magic. It was Magic Johnson Lakers. He was always a Lakers fan.
According to what
he did, go watch the Muse. That's what he says.
Listen,
and me being a Kobe fan, I think the Mike thing came later on. Like I said, it came after probably he won that first chip. That's when that relationship really came about, because it was more of, how do I keep this drive going? How do I keep improving my game? I think that's when he started reaching out to Mike.
All right, well, you could have fooled me because the way he played his game all the way through his whole career,
I'll send you the YouTube
exactly
video.
Like Michael Jordan. So I'm sorry
go watch his early. If you watch his early stuff, like, you're not gonna be like, that's a Mike. No, you say that like probably after, like I said, after that first trip. Because I watched Kobe when he first came in the league. Because like his first 3-4 years, I was like, he might have it, he might not. And then like that 5th year, he really like came into himself. That's when I started. I'm like, this boy might be. You know what I mean? He might be. He might be the next one. You gotta watch his early stuff. You can't compare the two early, because they wasn't the same. I think after that first chip that's when that Mike stuff started coming. Like, he playing like Mike. No, I mean, but even in that one, that's what the great ones do. Back and he said he went and studied that. Like, use it to drive. Yeah, I mean, that was on his own. Yeah,
but then
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, Ewing was great, man. God damn, I told you that. All time, baby. Ewing.
One time,
Georgetown.
He top 10 centers. Top 10. I give him top 10 centers.
Yeah, but Ewing's up there too, though.
Elijah was before him. I'm sorry to say.
Elijah one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Elijah won top 5. Elijah won top 5.
Elijah was my favorite.
I thought Space Jams was being filmed the year before Mike really came back. I thought it was that summer before, like 94 or something, like 94, 95. I didn't know that was 95 after he had lost to Orlando.
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that, and then
I'm like,
that
how
was
did he
crazy
get this contract that
court
fast?
built by Warner Brothers. He's Yeah, right.
Damn, what? Like really?
Oh, Brown
really?
had a court.
Really?
He had a court.
Brown ain't gonna do that now.
Yeah,
Brown ain't gonna do that now. Brown ain't gonna do that now.
Really?
He already did. He did it this summer.
No, I'm saying he's not gonna do that when he's not gonna do that when he does Space Jam.
He did the same thing.
Really? just to say, the Jordan.
That's the only way he would do the film.
Mike, we're gonna put it right here next to the studio, so you ain't gotta go that far.
Yeah, you got the money.
And then we're gonna bring all the NBA players, guys, to come in so they can play basketball with you and have pickup games so you can scout.
I mean, but who gonna turn down the chance to go around with
That's
Mike?
their fault. That's their fault.
Dog, that's a good run. That's a good run, bro. I'm going to run that. You know that. Come on, bro.
Good.
I would have known.
Dog, Frank, we used to go searching for good runs.
I'm good.
You know them runs was
I'm good.
Frank, you know.
Yeah, that's different, but when you're trying to compete, when you're in the league, I'm not gonna go.
Oh, just play Jordan?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. That's just me personally.
Big ass was in there.
Yeah, you don't go play against the
Yeah, that's me personally.
Yeah, you would have. No. You would have went for them runs, bro.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't have went. Not if I'm trying to beat him. No,
I'm trying to beat Jordan. They were trying to get that work in. It was summer.
Not if I'm trying to beat Jordan. Hell no.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you got? What would you have went there ran on them courts?
And then they got work. Then they got work.
Oh shit. Oh, he said what?
Because he can't make a layup.
What court?
the Space Jam court that they had built for Mike.
Exactly.
Filming Space Jam.
Oh yeah, right. I would have done the fast break layup. I would have told them to edit my shit and stretch me. First, when I would have done from half court on that.
You'd have been fouling them. Yeah, man.
Oh shit.
Physical game with me, you know how I get out on the court.
I know.
Oh shit! Trying to dunk every.
He used to be a monster every time he used to lower the rim. Supposed to be a whole monster.
Yeah. Real. All right, so then we go.
Hey, he ain't gonna tell y'all.
You talking about 1-on-1?
But keep going, right?
Nah, it never happened, man.
Okay.
Yeah, he ain't even on 1-on-1. No listen to him.
All right, now we at the point where the Steve Kerr incident happened. Now, my viewpoint on that, first off, is what they expect Mike to do when this boy hit him in the chest. Like Mike, but see, like Mike said, Phil,
why would you foul him?
He wasn't blowing the whistle. He was letting them get away with shit, and he kept telling them, like, Phil, you don't stop it, I am. Like, yeah. He'll switch him on his
Phil used to cheat. Phil used to pick.
And then he was letting Kerr
MJ was winning. He'll put him on another team.
Jordan. So, and Mike was trying to tell him, like, yo, this wouldn't happen, bro. Like, this is not going to happen in the game. Like, you doing this shit, dude. I don't know why you doing it, but if you don't stop it, I am. And then him and Kerr get into the little argument, which people do at practice on the court and in the game, whatever. But then Kerr elbows him in the chest. What do you think was going to happen? He punched him in the mouth. We don't know what he punched him at the eye. We don't know.
I mean,
he didn't.
Yeah.
He punched him in the eye.
That
was after
he was
Jordan
fed up.
fouled him hard. Right?
Yeah, because because he was that's what MJ he was tired up. Yeah, that's what MJ was trying to send a message.
Okay, so Frank, if I foul you hard in the game, in the practice, right, and you come up to me and you throw an elbow on my chest and I punch you in your eye, that's exactly the scenario that happened, right? That's a hard foul.
Right. But hold on. Had y'all already been going back and forth?
That's
like
exactly
the whole practice. They was going back and forth.
But that's what happened in practice. The whole thing was MJ. Phil was calling all these cheap fouls on MJ on Kerr, and MJ's like, "Yo, that's not a foul." So then when he went for a layup, so MJ was like, "Oh, you want a foul? I'm gonna show you a foul," and he like fouled him, like, kind of hard, and that's when the whole thing happened. Yeah, that's what everything
So,
went
but
down.
it's okay for Jordan to be the shit talker in all these other scenarios and all these other practices. But when somebody says something to him, you can't talk shit to Jordan because
because nobody ever did. No, because he was
exactly my point.
Because I bet you if he wasn't playing with the same intensity that he always been playing, someone probably would have been on him. But they never talk about that because his intensity was always the same. So they couldn't.
Scenario.
Yeah, but they couldn't say anything to him because his intensity was always in practice was always the same. It wasn't like he was lagging.
No, that doesn't make the two wrongs. That doesn't make it okay though. You're supposed to be Jordan. You're supposed to be the captain of the team. You're held at a higher standard, so you're supposed to be the one that sets the example. You don't sit there and push another teammate to the ground to set the example. Say, I'm going to foul you and you're going to stop blowing the whistle.
But hold on. He even said that.
You didn't see what he went to Detroit.
Other episode 7, when that he said he wanted Scott Burrell to push him. Punch him, something like Mike would, like he say, he wouldn't do nothing to someone else that he wouldn't do himself. Like he wouldn't want someone like he just wanted people to have intention. So he was cool with you pushing him if it's in the flow of the practice. But Phil had instigated that because Phil, like you say, Phil wasn't calling fouls. Phil was, like Phil. Yeah, he said it first. He said to Phil, like, Phil, don't stop this. Like you doing this. Like he said to Phil first because Phil had the whistle. So I mean it just boiled over. You know, I mean I don't
Yeah. That comes with anything because I mean, remember right when we used to I think he was Castani, I think you was there. Like we used to tell refs, like, if you don't get control of the game, like it's gonna go to somewhere else. You know what I mean? So you give them chances, and that's what MJ did. He was like, Phil, like, this is not a foul. Like, you want to see a foul? I'm gonna foul him, and this is what a foul is. Kerr, this is what. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta imagine MJ went through all that when they wasn't calling fouls in Detroit and the Knicks and all that. Like, he went through all that. So those is a foul. You know what I mean? So he just wanted to let them know, like, all right, you want to know what a foul is? This is what I had to go through.
You want to jump in there?
Like, don't sit up here and be like, "Oh, Joe," about it. Like,
y'all pretty much touched everything.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've been in college basketball practice where it's intense like that.
That leads where
to
something else.
Where coaches just call tic tac fouls. You're like, yo, like what's going on? You know what I mean? I had players, I had teammates that freaking punt the ball, you know what I mean, or just walk out of the gym because coach was,
and it's like
wasn't calling certain things or just being, an asshole in practice.
It is what it is. Play through it. Yep.
Exactly. Yep. And it teach you how to. It teach you how to deal with the situation and play through it.
The 72-10 Bulls. The greatest team of all times in the NBA, right? Most wins. Well, now Golden State had the most, but I'm saying they won the chip, so that's why they, And then that shit, they actually, I ain't know that they was 87-13, including the playoffs. They only lost 13 games that whole year. Like, dog, that got to be the greatest team. I know they were saying the 92 team might have been. Greg touched on some great points last week. If it wasn't for the Olympics and all that stuff, maybe they could have won and did that. But 72 wins, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, they up there. I think them and the Lakers, I think they're like those are the two craziest teams.
Yeah, Bubba.
When they only lost to AI in the playoffs.
DMV, baby. You know what I'm saying?
They only lost to them because they had that long vacation.
And excuses, man. AI stepped over to them.
They had that 2 week vacation.
This nigga off the court.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but me personally, I think they're the best, the greatest team.
Yeah.
To somebody, of all time. I mean, you can't count Boston.
But Boston
only had 8 teams at the time in the league. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah.
Who? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I mean, they won a lot in championships. But I'm just saying. But Bulls, If we go 72
That's
and
what
10,
solidified
lose
it.
10
Like
games,
Golden
that's
State,
crazy.
if they would have won the chip,
And
the
then win the
16,
chip on top of
LeBron
that,
said nah to that. But if they would have won that chip, then they would have been the greatest team. You couldn't. Why not? They would only lost 9 games, bro.
I wouldn't have put them up there though. Just me personally.
Oh shit, we going down that route.
Yeah, but the way the league is at this time, it's you know what I mean. Like all right, especially that time. Like you remember everybody. I mean, Golden State had 3 monsters.
No, I ain't
The
gonna do that.
Cavs
I ain't gonna do that.
I mean, I ain't gonna say they had 3
loves
monsters, but they had
I'm gonna disrespect
Brian, Kyle. Yeah, you know what I mean, 2.5. Yeah, you know what I mean. But everybody, it was all. Yeah, it was a lot of super teams. Remember, it was at that time it was a lot of super teams, and you look at the teams they were playing, like Orlando. You know what I mean? Like a young Milwaukee, the Suns. Like ain't nobody in the league.
Oh yeah. Nah, the East was weak. Yeah.
I'm saying when Golden State was going on that run, like you just had Golden. You had Golden State and you just had Cleveland because I think Kawhi was hurt. Who else was? I can't even name another superstar besides. Yeah, like you can't really say. You know what I mean? Like,
so E, do you agree that the 72-10, 72 and 10 Bulls are the greatest all time? Coming from a Knicks fan. What? I ain't even
trash.
Whit, what you think? Whit, you think they was the greatest?
Yeah, man.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I mean that team. That team was really that was a well built team. Like I ain't even going front. Like that was probably the best team
they played
ever
deep
assembled.
too. God damn, they played top deep.
To bottom, well coached. You know, they had a deep bench. They had great players. Everybody was running on all cylinders that year. And even if you looked at the Golden State Warriors when they had their season run, the modern NBA had changed from now until then. And you can compare apples to oranges all year.
Yeah, but you got to remember, nobody on the Bulls. That 72 team, that's because teams wasn't averaging. They wasn't getting no 100-something points. They were getting like 70.
Scoring sales tickets.
That's why I said the modern. This is the modern NBA now. The modern NBA now is a lot of shooters. And here in this era was a lot of scoring in the paint. We had a little bit of everything. So it was a little bit more rough. It was a little bit more physical. So I can honestly say that team all around had just a well-assembled team. I mean,
Pippen. When they said Pippen looked at the schedule and was like, "Oh, we might not lose a game for 3 months." That's crazy, bro. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, when he said that, I was
y'all that good. Like,
I was kind of shocked. Like, what? I was like,
yeah.
That basically means that your only competition in the whole league is going to be the Knicks. And
wait, you want to add something else?
That was crazy.
Close it out.
That's it. It's just gonna be
Great team. The record speaks for itself. I think it's one.
All right, man. Let's get this last one out of here before we wrap it up. MJ saying he seen George Karl at dinner before the start of the '96 finals, Bulls versus the Sonics. Yeah, shout out to Sean Kemp, man. I forgot how nasty.
Shout out to George Karl.
I forgot how nasty he was, bro. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
That dude was awesome. I love me some Sean Kemp. God.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Sean and Gary Payton. I know, Gary Payton was defense and stuff, but Gary Payton could score. Like he was an all-around guard. Like.
He was like he was a fast break. He was a Cali guard that could score on fast break.
That was crazy. A guard, the only guard ever to win it. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
What you say?
Hold up. Gary Payton was good.
What
He
you
was
say?
good, but he got tore up that night.
He was good. He showed up that
But
night.
I mean, George Karl, being a North
What he
Carolina
say?
guy, like MJ, right? They both went to UNC, right? They had those ties. Mike say any other time he seen them, they all Joe, like, hey, what's up? Like George Karl not speaking to him before the series. Bulls, do you think that motivated Mike? That's what motivated Mike to get the Bulls up 3-0 because George Karl not speaking to him at dinner.
Oh yeah,
Mike
like
felt
they, I mean, like
he felt disrespected.
yeah, that's I mean, like everybody said, like Jordan always tried to find something, and that's what he did. If George Karl would have came up there and talked to him, and he would have said something, that he could use. George Karl wasn't in a win-win situation, period. So if he would have went up to Jordan and talked to him and said something wrong, or MJ would have just picked something out, he would have used that. So, and when George Karl didn't talk to him, he just went up 3-0 on him. Was like, look, do you want to keep going on with this? And by the Seattle winning the next two, I think it was more of okay. How serious it is. More of a if they wanted to get you out of there, they'll get you out of there.
And then they say Mike was dealing with a lot.
Let me get my rest.
That was crazy when they showed him Gary Payton talking about if they'd have put me on him first, I would have tired Mike out. And Mike laughing at him. That shit was funny. Mike said though, like I was dealing with my father because Father's Day was coming up. Go ahead.
A lot of players.
They should have put Gary Payton on him.
Yeah.
I said they should have put Gary Payton on him from the jump.
Gary Payton's like 6'4", bro.
No, gonna work. He's 6'6" versus a 6'2".
But Gary Payton did now. Granted,
still 6'6", 6'4" is not gonna work.
That's the lowest he averaged in the finals series. So Gary Payton wasn't a slouch. Like, could he stop Mike? Come on now, nobody can stop Mike. Right. But you just want to make it different. That's what they all say. You're not going to stop a great NBA player, right? Like you just want to make it difficult. Make them take tough shots. Make them, work to get their buckets. That's all. Yeah.
But you gotta remember, but if they'd have caught Mike on a good day, he would have averaged
coming up
30.
He just had a lot on his mind.
He was just dealing. He was. Like anybody can beat you on a day when you're having a tough day because you got a lot of stuff you're worried about. And they're like, oh, we beat him, he did this. And you're like, all right, well, I'm dealing with a lot. You just don't know what's going on. When Mike gonna put his mind to it, he'll get you out of there. Oh Lord.
The glove.
We only got 2 more seasons left, so it'd be good. We can move on to something else.
Well, the reality is this, man. Look, I like I told you, I think this
6?
probably his most
because you got to think, Frank. This is his first one back
of all
without his father.
It was his.
How?
No, we're not talking. We're talking about just mentally and emotionally for Mike. You see what happened after he won.
They didn't tell you.
Go ahead, E. Go ahead. I ain't gonna cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. E. Go ahead.
When you gonna let me talk, Frank?
I ain't gonna say. All right. I don't say the toughest. The toughest they went up 3-0.
Come on, man. You can't slander MJ, bro. Man, tough for MJ. Come on.
Because I'm just trying you something.
Yeah.
You me. I'm saying. You said that you want me to explain. I'm explaining to you. I was saying that the part where the snap is serious. I just said like the actual season itself I felt was difficult for him just in general. They finally get to the finals. He gets to the finals. They actually win. And then it's like the moment that you see where he's like, he wins. And then it's like, my dad's not here. I can't enjoy it.
Okay, yeah. I see that point. Yes, I see that point. Yes.
So mind you,
no, Bulls won. Bulls
he was on the. They were
Seattle
on
the last.
Seattle had won the first 2, right? Or, no,
it was 3-2.
They won the last 2.
Right. So they were. So it was what seemed like Seattle like what seemed that Seattle was going to look like they were going to win the series. He turns around and comes back and they win the series, right? So boom, win it, and they win it in Seattle, or no, they win it in Chicago, right? Okay. So they win it in Chicago, and it's a monumental moment. And what do you expect them to do as soon as he gets home? You go see his dad, and it's on Father's Day. So it's a very touching moment there.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
You don't have that. You don't have that person that you see that is your best friend with you in the corner, and now you just won your 6th championship. You just came back. It was all these things, accumulation of feelings, all wrapped up, and the him crying on the floor like that. That to me showed me, at least from that perspective, I'm like, well, finally he's a human being. Okay. All right, we can finally say that the man's actually got some feelings. Okay, we can relate. So that's my final thought.
I like how they gave that moment to him. You know what I mean, in the locker room by himself, because how much that meant to him. You know what I mean? Not having his dad by him, it's tough. Especially if you don't know the feeling. You know what I mean? And for him to do that on Father's Day, it was definitely a blessing, man. You know what I mean? Definitely was a blessing, man. So I want that. I definitely that moment right there when he was crying on the ground.
Yeah, he was releasing it all, releasing everything. Yeah,
it was a great scene. To me, yes. To me, it's like that's a moment that like you should have to yourself, but it's a great thing that it was televised for everybody to see that. You know what I mean? That just goes to show you, man. That's a love for his father and a love for the game.
Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah.
That's a love for the game, man.
Human being.
Like you were saying, like it's the passion for the game, and his father not being there, and I don't know. I don't think we touched on it though, but the one episode or the one segment where MJ was talking, and he got emotional when he was talking about the passion for the game.
Don't play.
Like you don't see players like that.
He gave his everything.
That just
to
talking
it.
about the game, and you just see somebody
everything
tear up like that. You're like, damn, like this boy really, like that part. Yeah, that part hurt me. Like, that part hurt me. Like I'm sitting there like, damn, like that's the same way I felt about basketball.
You know what I'm saying? Like
he couldn't tell me anything.
Like he didn't have a personal life like that. Yeah, he would go gamble and hang out with other,
a lot of sacrifices,
golf and stuff. Man. But he gave everything to that. Yeah. Well, he had parties. We heard about
didn't have no party scene, nothing like that. Like
it wasn't a normal party, but it was an MJ party.
Oh no, he had parties.
Yeah, they were like,
that's when you're messing with Hollywood and stuff like that. That's what people that you hang out with. That's what they like to do. So obviously,
card games, escorts.
Well, his part is more like card games, and, stuff like that. Here you go. Yeah, that's crazy. Like I'm watching the joint. Like these boys drinking Miller High Light and smoking cigars. I'm like,
they thought I get that, but even before that,
I'm like, man, these boys are so athletes.
Used to be like cases of beers in the locker room. Motherfuckers was throwing them back after the games in the early '80s.
The greatest thing about Phil was he knew how.
Ron, listen.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Used to have someone go across the street and get him half a pint of halftime.
I mean, we got to imagine like some players can't perform like that. Like MJ to perform like that constantly. That's
to perform on that high level.
You know what I mean?
Like Rock said. Rock said back then in the you don't think Larry Bird probably chugged a couple beers at halftime?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But to be
you remember our little run? We'll close out. You remember our little run?
Very few that can do that.
Friday night, go out, drink, play, be on the court the next day, smelling straight like liquor.
But
I know
wake up the next morning.
Yeah, but Yeah, but that's figure game. That's not, you know what I mean. You're not gonna do that. Yeah, you're not gonna do that with a whole bunch of NBA players. Oh hell no.
But can you do that during the season? Is the question. Can you do that during the 82 game season?
Well, that's why they on that level.
That's
They
what
on
I'm
that
saying.
level
Like,
for a reason.
very few that can do that.
That's the highest level of basketball, so you got to be a different type of individual to be on that level.
Yeah.
All right, well, good pod, fellas. Y'all got any closing words before we close this out?
Yep.
Okay. With
two episodes left.
Yeah, me too. Castano, other E.
I'm just excited to see how this ends, man.
As always, my hypocrisy only goes so far.
True Nick fan to the end, right? E?
I ain't mad at you. I hate Reggie Miller. I hate the Bulls. And
what's up with?
I'm excited.
Trash.
I'm excited to see this Reggie
Ah,
Miller.
shit, man. I ain't cut that the fuck.
Reggie Miller used to kill Jordan, and I don't care what anybody.
Cut that the fuck. That push off. He should have been arrested for assault with that shit. That shit was crazy.
I've never seen Reggie Miller kill anybody.
No, dog, but that shit was like in open court, Frank. Like last second
he was doing
shot.
that the whole series. He was doing that the whole series.
Like, that shit was
But
crazy.
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying the whole series he was doing that. That's what Mike was getting pissed. He was like, "Yo, this boy keep pushing and running."
Yeah, here you go.
Well, that's what you get, though. But that's what I thought it was. It was even. Jordan had always been the cheater.
Here we go.
Jordan cheat.
All right, well,
killing him so bad.
yeah, I think that was. Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that was that.
Was it that serious?
All right.
Jordan cheated a lot, yo.
But nah, I want to give a shout out to Greg and Joe. Couldn't be here with us. Just another episode. All right. Episode 4 of the Men on the Podcast.
That's the ultimate cheater right there,
Thanks
Greg.
for joining
That's
us,
the ultimate cheater.
All right, everybody have a good one, man. Y'all be safe, man.
Greg.
This concludes another great episode of the Men of Honor Podcast. Please go and subscribe to our YouTube page at MOH Podcast to catch all of the episodes. And don't forget to hit that like button and drop us a comment. Also follow us on Spotify at m.o.h Men of Honor Podcast. The link is in the description below. And like all episodes, this episode is brought to you by Fezek Athletics, where you can go get all of your fitness gear and daily supplements today. Log on at www.fezekeathletics.com to get 15% off that first order. I want to thank all the fellas for all of their input and conversation. Frank at Fezek Frank, Erik Whitford at Swiss Burgundy, Joe at Joseph Paransky, Greg at Gregory McCray Jr. on Facebook, Erik Castano at Eric.Castano, Ant at Silverware90, and of course myself, Javon, aka Rock, at Forever King Henry 33. Follow all of us on Instagram, and also follow Men of Honor Podcast on Instagram as well at MOH Podcast. Again, we thank you all for listening. We hope you all stay safe and blessed. Until next.